Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles of Bust number 670 today. We're doing battle with Vanessa. And so we got a new patch out here. I didn't expect a new patch to come about, and big surprise, it did. And so you call your shot, you're sure to miss. And so with this new patch, as far as Vanessa's concerned, not a ton of difference. She's definitely stronger than she was in the previous patch, but the thing that made Vanessa strong, that I think was the best thing you could be doing with Vanessa, is the captain's wheel stuff, right? So you get a large item, probably a crow's nest, a captain's wheel, then you look for things like aquatic rush to put the round start haste onto the captain's wheel, and then at the 1 second mark you just start hasting whatever you want. And just the fastest and quickest way for Vanessa to come out the gates. Nothing changed this patch. That's probably still the best thing that she can be doing. The changes that we're really seeing as far as Vanessa's concerned is the aquatic builds got a bit of a boost. I'm not too versed with aquatic this patch. I just haven't had the time to really dig in. But I have a feeling that the haste fish, right? Whatever that one's called, the one that when it gets haste, it scales up the amount of poison. That got dropped to a 4 second cooldown, and I think that puts it at a spot to where it's probably just better than pufferfish. We'll have to see how that plays out. If I'm going to call my shot this patch, that's the shot that I'm taking. Is that the haste fish is just better than pufferfish, but I'll need some time to mess with that, and I would still be looking to use that same setup, a large item, ideally multicast ship if you can find it, but Cove early, multicast ship late, Captain's Wheel in there, and then probably something like either barrel or turtle shell as your scaling defense while that fish does its thing. But otherwise, as far as this patch is concerned, things are a lot more general. There are a lot of upgrades to potions in this patch. That does make it somewhat interesting, considering things like port and ammo flask, as some of the potions have become adjusted and easier to find. I think that probably also signals that the open beta and Mac are coming soon. But as far as Vanessa is concerned, it's worth noting those are there. I haven't come across a spectacular port build this patch, but there might be something there since all of those potions caught essentially upgrades across the board. Last thing to kind of call out with this patch is it's very kind of bronze centric, right? It's interesting with the updates to B1 and B2 and the ability to upgrade all of your bronze items to silver. It's very easy to just get rid of bronze items, and so that should technically make it easier to pivot builds if you want. And so if, say, we start out with what seems to be an ammo build, we pick up a handful of aquatic items, but they're all bronze. You can't really find the place to push them into your build. That B1, B2 upgrading all your bronze to silvers really gives you that opportunity to kind of switch over. Things are also a little bit slower as the early game experience points have changed. You can't just automatically level up on day one. There's just a lot slower in terms of picking up those experience points in these battles. And so definitely interested to see how that plays itself out. Opponents having less health should be good for Vanessa, right? Vanessa tends to be the aggro champion of the game, and double barrel bursting down an opponent is easier to do if they have 700 less health. And so I'm curious to see how that plays itself out with this patch. If Vanessa is able to overcome the opponents early with things like double barrel, or if she's in the space to where sniper rifle and Lang Zhang and the like are just one-shotting without too much help, right? Typically with Lang Zhang, we talk about two-shotting to where you want to hit once and then say have Bloodhound to cut down the opposing cooldowns and then hit again. You may not need to do that if the opponent just hasn't leveled up as much. But, you know, as time goes on, we'll get more in tune with the patch. The big thing to call out here is, of course, the new start of the game. The early game is very different. If you picked up this game like last week and then picked up the game this week, you would think you were playing two completely different things here at the start of the game. And, you know, I feel like they've really kind of improved across the board between at the very beginning of the beta to when you got a gold skill and a weapon, and then a gold skill and a choice of 3 weapons, and switching to the 4 item system, and it's like the various changes along the way. I'm not entirely certain how I feel about this one, because it does feel like a lot of these options are kind of high rolly, and there are some options to where you commonly see it on Reddit to where someone will say start with the silver skill and the 10 gold, and they get stuck with red envelope, so they just get a big gold start. Like, there's going to be some problems along the way, but it's an interesting start here. I haven't really decided if I like it more or less, but things have just progressed better and better and better and better, and so I certainly don't hate this. But here, I think taking the option for 2 silver tier skills is fine. Arms dealer's reasonable. Left eye is reasonable as well if you're building towards a singular item build, and so we're at least getting somewhere here, right? I think that, you know, kicking off with arms dealer, it does push us towards just doing slower things, as we should build up a bunch of health across the course of the game, but we won't immediately jump into that. But nonetheless, here, reasonable with the Lost Crate. This one has not changed as far as... Oh, shit, it has changed. Lies. I just automatically assume that it hasn't changed because the picture didn't change, and that's not accurate, right? The silver upgrade hammer comes out of this. Not looking to pick that up, I don't believe. There are like combos that you can do with the upgrade hammers, in the sense that, say that we have a silver, or say that we have a bronze weapon, right? We have a bronze double barrel. We go to the ammo store, and then at the ammo store they have another bronze double barrel. You can then use the upgrade hammer on the existing one that you have, turn it to silver, and then purchase the bronze version, so you have a bronze and a silver. That kind of thing can be quite relevant, especially if you're, say, trying to go aquatic with pearls, and doubling up on pearl can be quite strong. But I'm not entirely certain if that's a valid strategy or a high roll. With this, I'm just going to take the skill. I would like to get a little bit more direction with what we're going to do here. We do have, 20% crit out the gates on whatever weapon we have on board, and so we might just find ourselves immediately pushing towards single weapon type stuff. But maybe something neat will will push itself forth, and we won't be doing that. Yeah, but as far as this start here goes, we don't have any items. We needed to pick one that we could get a guaranteed win, so we couldn't fight the Viper. It was either this or the banana guy. Don't really want to dig for duct tapes with Vanessa, and so we'll come out here and try and grab this this Fang, just so we have something that does literally anything. But I mean, I guess an upgrade to Deadly Eye wouldn't be the worst, getting to silver with that as well here in the early game. It's going to be pelt, right? Bummer. And so yeah, we need to pick up some items, just literally anything that we can put on the board. I'm kind of okay with going to Finn's Big Bite and then just rolling the dice. Getting that +5 regen can be so strong on day one. And so let's grab that one, hope for the best, see if we can't get something out of a shop here. Small and large items is going to do it. All right, so what do we want to grab out of this? I'm a little more interested in the weapons than the other stuff. It's a bummer that we just don't have a ton of money here, right? We've only got 7 gold, so we can't purchase everything and then roll. But I think it's fine to take hand axe. Could probably take pop snappers at kind of half combos early with a lot of weapon-based ammo stuff. And then... Oh, shit. Hang on. That's just where we're at, right? I didn't realize this was a 4 gold reroll in the large item space. Well, I guess we'll fill out our board like that. Hope that the hand axe is ready to put in some work. I don't know. That wasn't a great start for certain, but there's a very real chance that the regen can just carry us. Yeah, we're over the course of 10 seconds we'll regen 50 health, but he's only going to deal 80 with his Lang Zang, and so I don't think he can really outdamage us here. I think that we're going to be okay at the end of the day, especially when we consider putting in slows and stuff. Of course, he's just got to get that 5% chance to crit, so you gotta have something massive come in to just ruin our day. But nah, seems like this should be fine. That Lang Zang starts quite good though.
Bring her about.
Okay, barely got ourselves out of that 14 health at the end of the sandstorm. Good enough though, right? Doesn't have to be pretty, just has to be good enough. That's what my wife said about me when she first met me. He doesn't have to be pretty, he's just got to be good enough. Well, let's see, what do we got here? This is B1, B2 I mentioned earlier. You can upgrade a bronze for free, or you can upgrade all your bronze for 8 gold. We're lacking in the money for that big upgrade, but I think upgrading the hand axe is probably the best option that we have here. 3 gold's not that exciting, and we don't really have the money to dig with the ammo shop. And so I guess there's also a world to where you're kind of interested in just upgrading pelt for the extra gold. But I think the hand axe upgrade here is going to be fine. Now we get some bronze skills. Not the greatest set. Kind of leaning towards just taking the 10 gold out of the red envelope. Like, I don't know. It just feels like with the start that we have. Well, I guess that's the left eye doesn't have to be onto weapons, right? It's your leftmost item, and so if pop snappers is your leftmost item, it gets the crit chance. It's not specific to a weapon. Giving up on deadly eye wouldn't be the worst thing, I guess. But I kind of just I've gotten so used to in the early rounds where we just take experience points that I'm a little uncertain about the strength of red envelope and like how battle ready we're gonna get. I don't know. We just seem so far away from being in a poison build. But if we land on poison, well, toxins probably aren't that important. All right, that should be fine. Now here, there are some interesting things with the strange mushroom. I don't remember all of the combos, but for some of these things, if you have a friend, you can get an experience point out of it. And I don't think it's the strange mushroom. I think this is the one to where it's like the furry friends is the one to where if you have a toy, if you have a friend, or if you have an apparel, you can get an experience point. Strange mushroom doesn't do it. So let's go to the medium item shop. I'm pretty certain that that's accurate. Are we interested in any of this stuff? Not super amped about it. We need to get some stuff on board, just like in terms of weapons in general. We can take a katana, I guess. Works kind of nicely with the hand axe. Don't want rifle O. What do we got in this next set? Pufferfish turns up, and then it's not crazy to think we couldn't go for Lang Zang at this point. It's again like pretty easy to get an upgrade hammer and turn this into silver, and we really only missed out on 1 day of upgrading it. I think I'm kind of okay to take it and just kind of speculate, and then if we get to like the end of the day and we haven't had the chance to upgrade it, then fine. To where we can still kind of safely skip on pufferfish, right? We just don't have any combos with it. I don't feel like we've even really seen any. Well, we haven't done a ton of shopping, right? But we haven't seen a ton of aquatic stuff up to this point anyways. Guess we got the money to get both. Might as well speculate. All right, but as this turns up, if we're going to come in and fight the giant mosquito, I just love shooting for the haste. The rush is just so good, especially as we just picked up a Lang Zang. If we're able to go single weapon with the Lang Zang and having the round start haste is just such a super powerful build, and so I think you want to go for that, even if you miss. Getting the 6% cooldown off of Lang Zang is pretty decent. Proboscis. Nobody wants that shit. If we're going to be out here memeing, it's going to be with Boulder, with Powder Keg or something. It's not going to be with Proboscis. Bummer. But the Lost Crate turns up, right? You can get that upgrade hammer out of it. We can use the upgrade hammer on the Lang Zang. And then now have the silver thing. It's, a bit behind, but it's got that potential in here. Now, here's the one I was mentioning on the last round, right? The tiny furry monster. If you have a friend, if you have an apparel, if you have a toy, you can come in and get an experience point out of it. I think that's the way to go. Curios, we don't have the money to deal with, right? So hide and seek, if you have a friend, get an experience. All about it. Unfortunately, 1 point short of leveling up, but kind of is what it is. And then let's just slam the hammer on the Lang Zang.
Now this will inspire the crew.
Okay. Let's battle.
You should know, I'm a bit of a legend on Pelagos.
Alright, looks like Vanessa doing some attacky stuff. It's only a bronze double barrel, but she's got the ammo flask to keep it up and running. Like, bronze double barrels tend to be not that scary because they don't do enough damage to kill you. Like, we could probably fight through it with, for the most part, would just regenerate, but having the ammo flask really changes the picture there. It's a bit of a bummer for our friend Lang Zang to be losing out on a upgrade, but we still have plenty of time to get it scaling if that's going to be a thing. Who do we want to pick here? I'm still pretty high on just taking the loot items at this point. Doesn't seem like we're really, digging in towards ammo stuff. Fuel crate's not the best, but it is what it is. All right. So what do we got here? And looking towards the regenerate, again, we don't really have the money to go to Curio. I would like Curio if we're going to dig in with Langzang. I really like picking up the bonus to slows. So if you put the plus 1 second slow onto dock lines or put it onto Clamera. Clamera is especially strong if you get that round start, pop the slow on 2 seconds or 3 seconds from some of those bonuses, but we're just kind of short on money. I guess we could realistically just sell all of this stuff that isn't pufferfish and not hate it. But I really want to be picking up more than just that. I think that's too speculative. Let's just take the regen out of here. This next set got to go to the Mountain Pass if we're going to get an opportunity to put the damage bonuses on Langzang. Frost Street Champion. Sure, we just got to get whatever we can on board. I guess pufferfish kind of counts, right? It's not strong by any means, but if it gets one activation, might be enough to carry the round. All right, hopefully this will get our Langzang back on track. Whew. Hope y'all are doing good out here. The Frost Street Champion remind me as we record this, it's -20 in Kansas City. It's definitely a little frosty out here. It's fucking absurd. -20, -25. We had it like this on a New Year's one year. It was like New Year's Eve, -30 outside. I was really surprised people didn't die, since the Chiefs had a playoff game last year. It was in like late January or early February at Arrowhead against the Dolphins, and people got fucking frostbite. People legitimately had to get their appendages amputated because they went to the football game and got drunk and then didn't wear gloves and didn't wear facial coverings. Like, they legitimately got frostbite just watching a fucking football game. And like that, I got to feel bad for them. You're just out there trying to have a good time watching the Chiefs play some football, and at the end of the day, you have to get half your hand fucking cut off. Like, that's a horrible story because you have to repeat that the rest of your life, right? It's not like, oh man, how'd you get your hand cut off? And you're like, oh man, I saved a baby from some train tracks, right? I whipped a baby off the train tracks and the train ran over my hand. I really fucking saved the day, right? It's like, oh yeah, I went to a football game and got drunk and didn't wear gloves. Like, that's just the story for the rest of your life. It's fucking miserable, but it's no joke, man. But here we can beat the eccentric Aetheryte, kind of like with the haste round earlier. Rigged, I mean, should probably just come out of the game. This item is just so exceptionally strong. The things that I'm really kind of upset about at this point in the game is I think Bonk needs to go. Bonk is so exceptionally good given how challenging it is to find, right? You have like a 10% chance to find Bonk on one battle, and you just kind of don't get a guaranteed 10 wins at that point, but you're pretty fucking close. If you have an on-meta build that you haven't fucked up, if you get Bonk, you're just going to win. Kind of the same thing applies with Rigged. It's just automatically starting two items way faster than your opponent. Just so exceptionally strong.
Place to store the rest of the tyrant's gold.
But what are we going to do here? Some more upgrade stuff. Not really excited about upgrading any of these things. It's just from bronze, right? You don't get the bigger upgrades until later in the game. I think we're getting further and further away from this idea that we'll be using the pufferfish. So we should probably just come in and take the skills.
A lot older than me have lived a lot.
Got a little bit of crit in here. It's like if we're going to single item with Langzang, the crit is still relevant in the sense that a diamond crow's nest is only going to give it 80% crit. So we're right there, but if we can get up to 40% naturally, then that's another upgrade we can skip on the crow's nest to keep the Langzang at 100% crit. And so the keen eye is not terrible. I just don't think we'll really use fiery or use initial dose. It's like a touch chicken and egg, right? We've been saying we don't have the opportunity to go aquatic, but we have pufferfish and refuse to upgrade it. This would be the second poison skill that we could have gotten, but we don't have any of the other stuff to go with it. Like we haven't seen pearl, we haven't seen seaweed, we haven't seen even like conch shell, whatever the shitty shield one is. Like we haven't seen the shitty heal one. It's just like literally none of the aquatic kit has shown up. And so, like outside of this pufferfish that we legitimately took, none of the other enablers have been running around. So I think that's fine. Let's jump in here and take skills again. Like I'm kind of okay with being all in on Lang Zang, or if we want to pivot to sniper rifle, that's okay. So let's look and see if we can't pick up some decent skills out here. Could pick up Deadly Eye. 5% crit for $5 is a pretty decent deal. Let's see where we go from there. Yeah, all right. I don't think B1 B2 is going to do anything. Let's get the small items. Maybe we'll find a suppressor in here. Upgrade to hand axe is fine. I mean, it's like technically with the stuff that we have, with your weapons getting crit and then your items getting crit, so you can see like our hand axe has 14% on it. You should probably be going for some kind of go wide build, right? It's not like we have left eye for 16 and then right eye for 16 and we stack them up onto the same item for 32. Like that's pretty decent with Lang Zang, but the thing I guess you could kind of envision with this is we can look to pivot away from Lang Zang at some point, and then say have a trebuchet out of these 3 items, and then a captain's wheel, and then another 5 items for just general stuff. But you typically want that general stuff to involve a double barrel, right? And we don't have double barrel at this point, and so something to keep in mind. We can look to maybe move over that way, but not entirely certain we'll get there. But with this, happy to pick up Grenade. It's still fairly powerful within this patch. Let's take a roll, see if anything else turns up. Grape Shot's fine. Again, it's just another weapon that we can put on board. Probably want this cannonball. And here was the haste creature I was talking about earlier, right? Catfish, in the sense that might just be better than pufferfish now, right? It's on that full 4-second cooldown. If you're perma-hasting it with Captain's Wheel, it's going to poison every 2 seconds. And then each Captain's Wheel activation is also going to give it that bonus poison. And so we could probably speculate on it. I kind of want this cannonball as well. And so let's sell just like a little bit of stuff here. See if we can't keep both. And then again, it's like as we come across those things like B1 and B2, which seem to show up with a lot of frequency throughout the entirety of the game, I could definitely see that kind of thing paying off. So let's see, something more like this now, right? Got a bit more width on board. We don't need to cannonball up the grape shot. Probably just put Catfish in at this point. Okay, I don't hate it. Keep our max crit on the Lang Zang. See what we do against old Pygmalion here. He's already at level 5. That's wild. All right, I don't know any way that we could have gotten like an extra 6 experience points across the course of the game here, but is what it is. Looks like he's doing crook stuff. Not fully crooked up though. He's only got three items on board. Probably need to hit a crit on our Lang Zang though. Definitely after that big shot we just took. Looks like we missed. His Jabalian longbow is going to circle around and take us down. It's always a bummer losing to these people that have Boomerang on board, right? Boomerang is not really intended to be a PvP round. I think it just speaks to our weakness and not so much what the opponent's doing there. But right, speaking of the devil, here's another B1, B2. This seems like a very powerful board to just take the full upgrade, right? If we do want to make the switch over to the various puffer fishes or aquatics, they're going to be silver now. Just got a ton of upgrades across our whole board, and then to a degree that might just pay for itself. Like I didn't do any math on it, but it's like the katana sells for 2 more, the grenade sells for 1 more, cannonballs 1 more, pop snappers 1 more. Like it's very reasonable for us to sell stuff and just recoup all of that cost, and so pretty reasonable deal. Now with this, not giving up our income, we'll just take the chocolate bars. Only got the $2 at this point, so not a lot we can really spend on. Sell all these chocolate bars. We're not going to go back to to B1, B2. I'm horrible about selling stuff before we need to do it, but I got to give the other players a chance, you know. It's no fun if you're in the best in the world just beating everybody all the time. You gotta give the other players a bit of a chance, and so We'll let him take their advantages somewhere.
Gotta get back to work.
But here, going to the Boiler Room Brawler, he has some decent stuff. You really want that energy potion. Time to Tinker, not as exciting. No real combos with that in Vanessa. Then out of this stuff, don't hate flanking criticals, but it's not a real build around. I'd like to find something more build aroundy here. So let's take a roll. This haste stuff, freeze stuff isn't going to cut it. Which one's this? When you use a weapon, weapons adjacent to it gain 3 damage. I mean, fine. Like that, we were already kind of getting stacked in to where we should be going for like board width, just with the skill set that we have, and this just pushes us there even further. It's like, I guess you could technically take chemical fire. It's so tough to me at this point. Like with the where the build seems to be going, the best defense is probably where you want to be, right? In the sense that just getting this like big, if you have one item, it doesn't do anything. If you have 2 items, it does a little bit. If you have 3, it does more. 4, it does more. Like that's what a lot of our skills have all aligned to as well, right? With the deadly eye and the keen eye, it all kind of stacks in with the best defense. But it's like I also just don't want to be a scaling build with Vanessa. She's just the worst at it, right? She needs to be killing the opponents fast. She's never going to outscale a Pygmalion, especially as we have 1 win on day 4. We're not going to outscale a Pygmalion on day 14. It's maybe possible on day 10, day 11, day 14. It's not, and so I just don't want to build towards that. I feel like the thing we should probably be doing at this point is just switching over to chemical fire and trying to get the burn build together. And I don't completely hate it, right? I mean, Time to Tinker does do a little bit of combos with the hastes, but then we have the Catfish, the Pufferfish. It just feels like where we need to be. I feel like the best defense there is a bait. Like, I think the stuff that we're doing now is probably good till like day 6, but we really need to find a way to pivot out of this and then get to get over here to an aquatic build. Right? We don't. Lang Zang's the only build around piece we have here. We don't have double barrel. Double barrel would be the key to that kind of thing. And I don't want to dig for double barrel and then have to dig for ammo flask and stuff. Just seems kind of off the charts, hard to do. And it's like so awkward with that thing like the best defense, right? If you want to play towards Captain's Wheel, that has to go between your weapons, and so it doesn't work. Or if you want to go for, say, Cannonball, right? Say we don't have, say we don't have the ammo flask, we only have Cannonball. We have to put Cannonball, say, to where it's, say, like this, to where it's the grenade, and then the Cannonball, and then the Lang Zang would be our double barrel. But the Cannonball, the double barrel is putting bonuses to the thing to the right, but it's never going to, say, get double upgrades to where, say, this Katana would be doing double upgrades. And so I think I'm fine with this conceptually. It seems like it's just a bait at that point to follow that path. Now with this shop kind of sucks. I'm going to go to the Lost Crate. I did remember now that, this is a upgrade hammer, and we probably just don't want it. And so I'm going to come over here and take the skill on the other side. Getting the additional crit chances, pretty good hit. And then we don't have any money, so we got to take the small tool. Lighter, don't really want it, but if we want to go for a... if we want to go for, say, a weather glass at some point, lighter might be important. All right, let's see if we can turn the corner here. Cool, he's got rigged, and so let's start complaining about it. It's only appropriate, It's only appropriate. Need a crit out of this Lang Zang big time. Well, it's gonna be strong enough on its own now. Got the crit anyways. Good deal. Overcame the rigged. Feels good. Alright, so what's up next? We got aquatic items here, but we only have 5 gold. We can get up an extra, say, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 or so if we sell stuff on board. It's probably worth. Beautiful. Good things in here. So both Captain's Wheel and Pearl. Definitely on board with snatching these up. Let's see here. Let's start selling stuff. We don't have the good combos with Captain's Wheel just yet, right? We don't have a large item on board, but we're about to turn the corner into not being shit, and so that's a decent place to be, huh? Turning the corner to not being shit. We can maybe be something like this out the gates. The captain's wheel. It's a shitty captain's wheel, right? We need a large item, but hit those two things that we have on board. And then we're going to get Pearl in here, but let's take a moment to just wait. I'm kind of okay with just the damage blast out of the pufferfish and stuff at this point. This round kind of sucks. We don't have the money for skills or non-weapon items, so we'll take the sharpening stone. And who you got for us here? We should be able to beat the Trash Town Mayor. I don't think this is a challenging opponent. Wouldn't be horrible to pick up augmented defenses if we're going to get like 2 shield items on board. Pearl and Turtle Shell or something. Yeah, this catfish be popping, man. This guy's got to be doing the big poisons. I'm pretty confident that this thing is just going to outshine the pufferfish this game. We aren't super in tune with building to pufferfish, but he did, 33% more poison. Can't hate on that. So here, let's take the silver tier item. I think, well, the loot can still just be so good. Finding a bonus poison or finding a cooldown reduction. Can't hate on that. Ammo. Ammo might make a way to be itself useful. Alright, now let's go to Kev's Armory. I'd love to pick up a good shield stuff in here. So how do we want to carry this? There's very, very good stuff in here. The shielded astrolabe is definitely a build-around kind of thing. The question is, like, how do we ever pop off with this astrolabe, right? In the sense that if we're wanting to use Captain's Wheel, we have to get a large item on board, and then we just like don't have the space to fit astrolabe in. Like, we could, I guess, cut pufferfish out, but like these two are friends, right? The astrolabe and the pufferfish are friends in the sense that the pufferfish wants you to just pop off a bunch of hastes, and you don't really care where the haste lands, right? You want it to land somewhere decent, sure, but if it doesn't hit the pufferfish, you don't care. But you do care with the catfish, right? If we pop off, 10 activations of astrolabe and it hits each of our items once, then we're only getting 1 activation on the catfish, and it's never going to scale. And so it's like we do want to stick with something like Captain's Wheel to make this catfish pop. But this is so good with shielded on it, especially as you level it up and that cooldown drops more. You just get tons and tons and tons of activations out of this thing. Well, we're definitely taking Pearl. It's like I'm kind of just leaning into taking Barrel at this point and letting the astrolabe go. Right? If the thing we can kind of look to do... Hang on to pepper spray here for a moment. Is like clean up this space. Looking to say put Pearl in, put Barrel in, and then we can still just hang on to Lang Zang for a little bit, right? We don't have to sell this right now, even though we're looking to transition into aquatic. This is still good, and so maybe we just say pick up Barrel, and then our build can be set up like this, to where we're hasting onto Barrel, and then Barrel's getting activations from Pearl and from Captain's Wheel. I think that's okay. Do we want to roll now, right? We've got 2, 6, 8, 10, 12, potentially 14 gold in the bag. I think we do. Just the things in here are so good. I don't hate picking up wanted poster. How much do we got to sell all this stuff? Gets us to 16, and we can get the wanted poster. It sucks the wanted poster shielded, right? We're not going to actually put it on board. But getting those experience points give us a chance to get a leg up. All right, let's get a poison item. Maybe we'll high roll something big. Weather glass? Not quite it. I'm not opposed to weather glass, especially since we did just pick up Barrel, right? If you're getting, say, like 5 multicast on the weather glass, it combos nicely with the Barrel, but I don't think it's better than the catfish at this point. All these Pygmalions are just way leveled more than us. It's kind of a bummer. What do we got? Let's see how the tables turn here. Up against a kind of 50-50 Pygmalion. It looks like he's trying to get together a crook build, but he doesn't have the crook, and so he's trying to just do stuff with apropos chapeau. I think we should be okay against this. decent poisons on him. Our health total's barely going down. We should definitely be okay. Yeah, he's got like 3 builds on board all at once and hasn't really picked any direction. Good stuff. It said minus 420 health at the end, and so nailed that win as well with the funny weed number. So what are we going to do here? There is another aquatic shop. We don't have any money, though. Like, we could get up to 13-ish if we really wanted to, sell Weatherglass, Langzang, and something else, but yeah, I'm not super interested. Let's just take the Lost and Found, get the small weapon, non-weapon, I should say, Honing Steel. Not that exciting. Small and mediums. Kind of interested in just skipping that one and making more money. We need to be picking up a large item, and the problem with large item, I talked about this a video or two ago, in the sense that the large item you want is the big multicast thing, right? Your aquatic items get multicast. That's a diamond, so you can't find it until the super late game. And so what bridges you to there? Like, you don't want Water Wheel, because if you're going to have Water Wheel and Captain's Wheel, you're just hasting your whole board. That's all you're doing. You're not actually scaling anything. You're not actually doing anything. You're just making your stuff activate faster, and it doesn't really cut it. And so at that point, you just have to say, okay, well, I'll take Cove. But Cove, you have to take a lot of time to level up, and we don't have anything to sell into Cove. And so it's kind of tough to get to the point to where we can get that large item on board. But we'll see what turns up. Can we beat Infernal? That's kind of sketchy. I'm a little interested in Zookeeper. He does have some decent stuff that we could pick up. He has that skill that when you use a friend, you poison. Catfish is probably the only friend we're going to be using. I'm just going to fight Foreman. It's winnable. You can get some usage out of things like Flashy Mechanic, right? The Captain's Wheel is a decent tool. Cog wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to pick up. Just set it out here next to the Catfish only, so it only activates on him. And selling these big boys gets us some decent money. Alright. Easy enough. Okay, Flashy Mechanic. Cool. So what do we got? Upgrade a silver or lower. I'm on board. I think we'll just upgrade the Catfish here. Just got to get that poison scaling. Like, again, I'm pretty okay with just not playing Pufferfish, right? This thing's just going to start scaling super hard. Every haste gets +3 poison on it, and so I think that's probably just good enough on its own. We want to go to the medium shop. Not really any medium item. Well, I guess there are a few, right? We'd want to find, say, like Turtle Shell.
Welcome
Okay.
in, hon. What can I get you?
All the shit, right? I mean, I guess we'll take the Pufferfish. There's no reason not to at this point. We'll skip Weatherglass. We're not going to be doing anything with it. And then Beach Ball. We could switch into Beach Ball as opposed to using this Langzang. And then just finally break away from the damage. Although the Langzang does do quite a bit of damage. Alright, I think I'm on board.
Oh, delivery.
This helps us activate, just get our scaling happening harder, right, as the Beach Ball will get us more Pearl activations. Pearl activations will get us more Barrel activations. I think that's fine. Probably should have taken that Fishing Rod. Just try and dig up extra Pearls. Alright, so what do we got here? We got like 6, maybe 8 gold if we really want. Trying to decide if we want to go to Curio. Probably too greedy. Let's just hit the portal. Dually shop. Get a scrap metal, upgrade the core. Not today. not today, my friend. Alright. Go to the dually shop and then go battle a dually.
But I've seen my share of storms.
Okay. The pivot to aquatics. Looks like Burn Dually coming at us. Got his shiny tool out here, shiny blowtorch. Why don't we get any enchants? I want an enchantment. Is he just like lost every single round up to this point? Got smoked. Got essentially double the burn on us than we were able to deliver. point, though. Next day, let's turn it around. And so, man, the large item shop kind of turns up, but we don't really have the money for it. Let's go to the docks, dig up a shield item. Don't want security cameras. What's up next? The mediums? Okay.
If I don't have what you need,
What you got?
I'll help you find
Upgrade to a
who
lot of
does.
stuff. Definitely taking the upgrade to Captain's Wheel. I don't think we can afford Wanted Poster at this point.
If it's not
Maybe
right,
we do.
bring it back.
Selling that stuff got us to 9 gold.
Oh,
Lets us do at least a little bit of catch-up work in
I
terms
like
of the
exercise.
experience points if we can actually win. Okay. All right. I mean, our stuff is pretty upgraded across the board. Just we're lacking that large item at this point.
How delicious.
Here's what we need: Poppy Field, right? I don't actually hate it, right? We got to get a large item somewhere. Poppy Field might do it, but I typically look at things like equivalent exchange. I know he has extracts out here. Yeah, Poppy Field, decent. I mean, I guess we could even look towards things like Weather Vane, whatever it's called, the large item from the Tesla store. See what turns up. Succulents. It's not it. So much for having fun. Alright, still take these gold tier skills though. So what you got? First time you use your leftmost item, haste. Definitely on board with the lefty Lucy. Just quite on point with what we're trying to do. We can shift everything over so that the Pearl is the one activating this. Right? We don't have any leftmost, rightmost in terms of poison stacks. We do have it for crit. It would be putting 16% crit on the Pearl, but those haste activations are probably just worth it. So we're going to do something like this. And take Lefty Lucy. Okay. Alright, what's up next? Mountain Pass? Give me them experience points. I appreciate it. Another burn guy. See if we can survive the plasma rifle. Be tough. This is going to be a... You can scale that thing up into the thousands and outdo our barrel. Our barrel's pretty fucking weak at this point, though, right? I mean, it's silver. Or, I mean, it's bronze. So, it's not really doing a ton of scaling here. Yeah. Got him up to... Might be able to take it down. As I say, we got him up to a decent poison, and then he just zinged us for like 1,500 with the plasma rifle. Yeah, the scaling is just fairly non-existent on the barrel. Maybe we do move the pufferfish out here to the left. Right, the pearl activated 12 times, the pufferfish activated 10, but then we get the crit on the pufferfish. Right, having crit on a 30 shield pearl isn't really spectacular. Okay. So what's up next? We'll just take the boost, take the temporary health. We don't have the money to really do a ton of shopping out here, and not losing would be pretty ideal.
Go ahead. Underestimate me. It makes
Okay,
this more
okay.
fun.
It's like dude's doing a little poison as well. More classic style build coming at us. The thing that's a real pain point on this round is, I guess our barrel isn't completely useless, right? He's got the fish, and so our shields aren't completely dead. But our shields don't do anything against his poison, which is pretty meh. We were able to... Oh, it ended up being a tie. I was going to say we were able to outpoison him at the end of the day. But, yeah, this barrel. Ugh. Alright, what you got here? Keep taking those loot items. It's just so slow. I've just been... After being in the last patch where literally every single game just went like Crow's Nest Captain's Wheel, just trying to watch these poison numbers grind down is fucking painful. But here, I'm kind of interested in the item shop, but let's just take the regen. As these rounds try to grind on, I think that's good, and we don't have any heal, and so it does let us counter a little bit of poison off of our opponents, which is not completely irrelevant. Now, definitely don't want the items. Start taking random shops. I guess we'll go into the portal from here. Diamond items. What you got for us? Diamond crow's nest. Not going to cut it, right? Don't have the money for it. We just need it because it's the large item. Yeah, we can't. We can never afford anything out of here. Let's just move on. Move on before we get any crazy ideas. Next set, Dr. Vortex is who I was talking about. He has those large. He has the large weather thing, right? I quit going to Dr. Vortex because like Tesla coils are only good for dually since they switched to being a tech item. But like I guess Weather Machine could count as our large item. It's not what we want, but it could be like a bridge until we get to a bridge item until we get to Shipwreck. And maybe we even wouldn't hate Lightning Rod. It's like cut out barrel, cut out pearl, put in Lightning Rod or something. Put it next to the captain's wheel. Didn't hit. So much for having fun, am I right? Now here, kind of a bummer of a round. I don't really want to go with Radiant. I still think Radiant is one of the shittiest enchants in this patch. It's just so, like, super not high rolly, right? There's a bunch. There tends to be a fair amount of slow, but this patch again just feels like it's about doing the most powerful thing you can as fast as possible, and having your item be Radiant just typically isn't that, and so it's outside of things like OTK sniper rifle kind of things to where Radiant really shines. And so I think we're just kind of stuck rolling here. And with our roll, do we want to put it on Catfish or on Pufferfish? And the thing with this, like I think,
But can we get moving?
let me pick up the enchants real quick. All right, so yeah, the Pufferfish, the new Toxic gave double, Fiery works towards its poison, Restorative heals 10 times its poison. That's kind of different. It's not the same number, but those would be the kind of things that we would actually be looking for. And then maybe you spike something like Icy, right, or Heavy can still be okay. What does Catfish do? Is it the same thing?
You remind me of my first voyage around
Poison's
the
double,
globe.
burn equal to poison 10 times, 10 times. Yeah. Icy's a little bit different, slow's a little bit different, but they should both be fairly similar. It's just the difference between the two is the Catfish would scale up to a bigger number to where the Pufferfish just activates faster. And I'm still not even really convinced that we want the Pufferfish in the build. Outside of the idea of just turboing down our opponents, that's all it really does. And so I think we'll put the upgrade on the Catfish here. It's like, as we found ourselves with this in the previous games, it would be like, okay, well, I want to hit poison or burn. If I don't hit poison or burn, I kind of accept the fallback of landing on like heavy or heal or shield. But like, you either get the chance to land on the good one accidentally or fall back into one of the medium ones or just take the medium one, right? And Deadly here is kind of decent, I guess. The Catfish still does some pretty decent big damages out here. And so we've landed on him. The Cove turns up. Again, it's like, this is just so painful at this point. You could put the Cove in. It's going to have 6th value, and so it's going to shield for 12. Right? It's just such a fucking joke of an item at this stage of the game. You really have to be finding this on day 1, day 2, and then scaling it up through the game. And this is the first one we've seen at this point. So we're going to skip past that. Like, I really want a large item to cut the cooldown on Captain's Wheel. I could be okay with Water Wheel. It's not ideal. Again, like, I don't want to just sit around and haste our board. But I really do want to get a large item in. And we can take out Beach Ball. It's doing kind of the same thing. Barrel's not really doing anything in this build. But we gotta get some kind of large item out here. So that looks fine. That wasn't actually bronze, right? That was silver. Okay, that's fine. So who do we want out of these? Like, I'm looking to take out Beach Ball, put in Captain's Wheel. I don't really want Pearl. Or, I'm sorry, I don't really want Barrel. It's just not scaling enough. But we may not have enough. We may not have enough like defensive stuff at this point. Maybe we're just okay with that though. Maybe we would prefer to just be like turboing our haste, right? So it'd be something like this. Succulence is far from what we want to be doing, but activating Water Wheel as fast as we can, and then just kind of getting double haste onto the Catfish, to where the Captain's Wheel hits Catfish, Water Wheel hits Catfish, and then hopefully we're just churning out hastes as fast as we can with Water Wheel. I think that that's okay. I mean, if we're going to be real, we could just even do this, right? To where we put the cog in, and so we have the triple haste coming in on the Catfish. And I think that's the place to be. We just need to get like a shield skill, like plus 30 shield, so that the Pearl doesn't just do nothing. I'll take the scrap here though. Helps with the shield a little bit. Well, we wanted plus 30, we got plus 24. I guess that's about as good as we can hope for. All right, I think this is it. See how ham this Catfish can go. Looks like damage coming at us. Cool, he's got Bonk. Love seeing that. He's got Shield Bash in there as well. And an Icy Double Barrel. Neat. No, there's going to be no way we poison this fast enough. Fucking nonsense. It's like he's done so little damage. It's insane. But, oh my god, are we actually going to get this one? Insane. Insane. It's like, how are we... How are we even going up against this nonsense? We've gone against Rigged. We've gone against Bonk. The Bonk guy had Icy Double Barrel. Like, we've had the opportunity for none of this shit. Fucking insane. Are we happy with our activations here, though? 10 and 12, our fastest activators on Water Wheel. That looks good. Then we got... I think this is where we want it, right? I mean, I guess there is a world to where we want to be hasting the Water Wheel, because it has a pretty high cooldown. You just assume you don't want to haste it because it charges. But if it's hasting all of our other stuff... Let me replay this one. This was actually a pretty long battle to sit through. I want to see like what our haste stacks look like on all of our other stuff, right? It's like if we have... 5 and 10 seconds of haste on pufferfish and 5 and 10 on catfish, then we can just count on the pufferfish having those stacks of haste, and then we can look to use the captain's wheel to haste the water wheel. I think that's the way to do it, right? So that the water wheel gets the chance to just drop more hastes. I think I dig it. Also lets us put the pufferfish out to the left, so he's getting the extra crit chance off of that rando skill that we had. We do lose some of the haste, the crit off of the captain's wheel this way, though, right? Our tools are going to be putting out crit chance. I think this is okay, though. We can sell a little bit. Always look at these Kev's armories. Try and find a decent shield item. Nothing in the first set. Then here's Turtle Shell. Turtle Shell being the thing to upgrade the Pearl and let us get scaling in the middle of battle. I mean, I'm not certain if it's even like good at this point. It might be like that we just want Turtle Shell if we're in a Sextant build, right? So if we say have Sextant, Pufferfish, Pearl, we aren't trying to use Captain's Wheel, right? We talked about that a little bit earlier. I think that's probably where the Turtle Shell wants to be, and not necessarily in something like this. Okay, let's skip out of that.
You don't like my armor?
All right, so what's up next? Get the chance for some chocolate bars? Sure thing. I don't think we ever used Beach Ball, but of the items we had in there, that was the one that would have had the chance to stick around for a bit. Let's go ahead and sell it. It's the way the pros do it. And then from this stuff, I think we just go to the weapons platform. We can beat all of these opponents, but none of them deliver any items or skills that we want. They're all very combat focused. I guess there's one skill from the Crow's Nest guy. It gives you some cooldown reduction. That could technically be a thing, but... yeah, so it's like our whole team is staying hasted this round, but we've also got haste on our water wheel. I like that move, I think. 13 activations on the puffer fish. Yeah. Only 4 activations on the catfish. Oh, it's getting hit by coolant, though, I bet. Freeze a small item for 3 seconds. Okay. I don't hate it. I mean, like, this doesn't feel like a build that's going to be able to get to 10 wins, but has some potential. And then I took the Vanessa skill. I want to find Oceanic Rush. This is the big one here. I do love Inexorable, but getting that round start haste is just so important in terms of kicking everything off. Now let's go to the item shop. Try and dig for a shipwreck. We got to watch our money, though. We can take the water wheel because we can afford it. We don't... I was going to say, we're going to really be struggling to have the money to even purchase a... to even purchase a shipwreck as we come in and spend literally all of our dollars. And so we'll have to be a little bit more cognizant of that, like making sure that we have the money to spend the 48 gold on a shipwreck. Get our pure late game. What's this, up against the atomic clock? Doesn't seem to have any ways to recover it, though. Big zaps coming in from the railgun. Need to survive one more and we might be okay. Barely got him. Nice. Oh, just got to get to 7 and we'll feel okay, right? Just got to get to 7. Okay, they'll keep taking these loot items. See what we got up next. Yeah, let's be careful. Let's try and ooh, experience points, cool. Let's try and save up that money. That seems like the big thing here. None of these shops will let us purchase that large item anyways, but I'm gonna say get a weapon just to try and stack up our dollars here instead of taking the 50 gold from that previous opponent. No way to make money here, so we'll take the 240 health. And then Void Golem we can probably beat. I don't know, fighting Caltrops is scary. Don't think we can beat the Property Baron, though. We can't stack up enough shield before it's going to pop, and so we're stuck fighting this dum-dum. Keeps freezing our small items. It's annoying as shit. Don't be out here putting freezes on our catfish. Still stacked up pretty high. He got up to 75 poison. He did 416 to our pufferfish, only doing 228. Alright, now what do we got? Upgrade an item. It's got to be the catfish. Just let him continue stacking up those big those big poison stacks. +4 whenever he gets haste. B1, B2 is not going to do it at this point. Sold everything. Don't have any chocolate bars hanging out or anything. Let's go to the item shop. We're starting to get some dollars in here. I don't hate seaweed. We need like some kind of scaling defense. Cog is not really it, right? This is going to activate like 4 times max over the course of a battle. I mean, I guess it activates a little faster because of the water wheel, but I think I'd rather have seaweed than that. And then this set upgrade to pearl, sure thing. Running out of dollars again, but hopefully we can get by. Alright, so we're going to look to bring the seaweed in. And then we'll go to Bazaar Con and take... No, we probably need to just take the shields. We're in a fairly weak space at this point. Okay.
You should know, I'm a bit of a legend on Pelago.
Yeah, I wanted to think of our catfish being like really turbo, but It seems like he, we weren't really doing that much turbo damage, and the scaling health should be a bit better.
All cannon,
Dude's
no
got
ball.
insane shit, though. I don't... He's got the Obsidian double barrel, which deals double damage. That's kind of neat. And then he also managed to get Toxic Trebuchet. Fucking insane. Alright. Well, maybe we'll get an opportunity to do something big. Burn turns up. So we'll put it on the pufferfish. At least give us a... No, we should put that on the pearl. That definitely gives us the opportunity to just take pufferfish out of the build. You do kind of want turtle shell at that point, though. I think this is okay. The pearl activates so fast that it's going to get a lot of good bonuses out here. Now with this, just going to take the poison item, and I'd like to I lost my train of thought on this one. Oh, stack up our money. We'd like to find shipwreck if we can. And so I'm just taking these opportunities. We've missed out on a few hundred health. Not that big of a deal. It's got to try and get up to those $48. Now with this, I think we can beat the veteran octopus. They changed the payout on the gold on these things, and so that's where a lot of our money used to be, right? You would come and fight this guy and get like 12 or 15 gold. They changed the scaling on that, so it's not nearly as much as it used to be. This is okay. We got 800 poison, 100 sunburn. See how long that one drug on. It's just as these get longer and longer, right? We got 300 poison out of our pufferfish, almost 1,000 out of the catfish. I think we need to watch this. Just trying to get the pufferfish out of here for another defensive item, and then just count on the catfish to do everything. Let's see if we get a good diamond skill, though. What do we got? When you use an item with burn, it gains 2 burn. That can be pretty big with the pearl. Regenerate equal to poison on the enemy. I don't hate. It's just like I'd rather kill you faster than give us more longevity. So I'm leaning towards taking the conflagration and then really trying to hammer home getting rid of this pufferfish.
You've learned much today.
It's just, it's always a bummer when you're out here half-assing it, right? If we go up against an opponent that generates a bunch of shields, there's a good chance that this burn on the pearl's just not going to do anything.
Hey, it's my favorite air breather.
Ah, damn. I saw the diamond large item turn up. It's the wrong one. Nope, missed.
You don't want the whirly thing? Or the...
Alright, what's up next? Go to the monster ranch. Get ourselves a good old loot item. What you got in here? Big cooldown reduction if we want it. Little cooldown reduction across everything. 1 poison or 2 burn. Yeah, it's got to be the big cooldown reduction. Drop it. It sucks to drop it on water wheel, but I guess we could. I don't know. It's like if we're... Oh, I don't want to get too invested in that. Let's just use it on the pufferfish. Like I think at the end of the day, we would love to have the pufferfish out of the build, but this is one really important win to get, right? I don't think this is ever a 10 win build, and like hitting 7 right now is a very real chance to do, and so rolling over to 7 is probably as good as it's gonna get. Against a fucking iceberg on a pig? I don't know. It might be okay. Like it doesn't seem like he's really doing a ton. And kind of one of the things against these opponents is while they do keep you frozen the whole time, your poison still gets to come out and tick. And so looks like we're not really dropping enough. It's kind of a bummer. He's eventually just gotten enough burn on us to counter it. He's got the upgraded. He's got the loot itemed iceberg as well, where when we use an item, it freezes for 2 seconds.
Each bounty gets us closer
damn.
to victory.
Well, Interesting stuff. I'm happy enough with how the run went. In the grand scheme of things, I think this was pretty decent, right? I mean, it's still pretty early in the patch. I don't have a great grasp on how everything we want to go is. We did go up against like just some mega high rolls along the way, and we're able to still kind of bring victory out against those, and so that was kind of nice. But we ran into what I think is just very much like the classic problem with this kind of build, right? This is again like the third or fourth video where I've talked about this, but this is the exact problem with trying to captain's wheel in the aquatic build. Again, like captain's wheel to me is just the best item that Vanessa has access to right now. It is super strong within these builds, but there's only 2 items that work with the captain's wheel in the three items that work in the context of the captain's wheel in one of these aquatic builds. You either have to have Cove, you have to have Water Wheel, or you have to have Shipwreck. We went the whole game, did not see a Shipwreck. We saw a Cove like halfway through the game, but the Cove wasn't scaled, right? You can't be on day 7 putting in a 3 hex item that heals for 12 every 3 seconds, right? You just cannot be doing that. And so it leaves you in this space to where you have to use the Water Wheel as the bridge to Shipwreck. But we have 5 items out here dedicated to just haste, and you run into that problem to where all of our items have like 10 or 15 or 20 seconds of haste stacked up on them, and that just doesn't do anything. It's just like overhealing in WoW, right? If you're the main healer just targeting the tank and the tank's at full health and you drop your biggest heal on them, it just doesn't do anything. And that's kind of the problem you run into with this space, is to where just everything is over hasted, and you would literally rather have it do anything else. And so I think there's kind of like the big takeaways from this are that the Catfish is still just the real deal. Again, I think Catfish is just better than Pufferfish. I think in the kind of same way that we talked about this Water Wheel being stuck to the bridge to the end game aquatic build, I think Pufferfish is probably just the bridge to the end game aquatic build, and you just don't want the Pufferfish, right? I think it's very real that you just want Catfish. And then from that point forward, you just need Sustain because it can handle itself so well, just easily scaling up to super high poison values on its own. And so if he can do it on its own, then why do you have the Pufferfish out here? You either need to be like having those builds to where you drop 700 poison in 3 seconds, which doesn't really seem to be a thing anymore. And if that's not going to be a thing, then it needs to be a really kind of delayed effort in terms of getting this Catfish online. And to get the Catfish online, you could probably just use like Sextant, maybe Beach Ball, and then just sustain stuff outside of that, and can just kind of count on the Catfish. And so I think that's probably the angle that these builds need to go. Is as much as I love Captain's Wheel is probably not the answer to the aquatic builds, and you need to be in Astrolabe builds. Just having the access to that Astrolabe, Turtle Shell, and Pearl are quite a big deal. And then you can look to do what we did in this game. If you have the Pearl, you can look to put Burn on it, put Poison on it, and that can be your kind of backup damage source, as opposed to sticking Pufferfish out here. And so I think that's probably the big takeaways from these is look towards the scaling health. You just need the one Pufferfish to get things done, and look for ways to get the Pufferfish up and running. And I think you'll be in much better shape than what we did here. Otherwise, I think the other kind of major takeaway from this is aquatic is still just not good enough. We don't kill our opponents fast enough, right? You run into this situation to where like you're up against a double barrel build and you need to just not die, right? There's a lot of decks and say something like Magic to where your strategy is you just don't lose until you win, and you're not actively trying to do anything to win the game. But if the kind of theory that I always worked with in Magic is it's who gets to spend the most mana the fastest is how they get to win the game, right? Whoever gets to spend the most mana is the one that's going to win the game. And what aggro decks are good at doing is if you get 1 mana on turn 1, 2 mana on turn 2, 3 mana on turn 3, 4 mana on turn 4, they spend all 10 of that mana. And then that's if the opponent only say spends 2 mana on turn 2, 4 mana on turn 4, they only spent 7 of their mana over the course of the game. You get that chance to kind of overcome. And then what control decks are looking to do is spend, like 50 mana over the course of 10 turns to where an aggro deck is just going to run out. And on turn 10, they're only maybe spending 1 or 2 more mana than they would have spent on turn 8. And I think a lot of these builds like this, like with the pufferfish, just need to be don't lose until you win kind of things. And with that, you're really just looking for a whole bunch of heal stuff. And then you're just looking at the pufferfish to make sure that you have a way to, or I should say, you're looking at the catfish to make sure that you have a way to, say, beat Pygmalion, right? So if you're up against a shield scaling pig or a shield scaling dually or something, then you at least still have something dealing damage. But at the end of the day, you're just trying to grind shields out and stuff. I think that's probably where these aquatics need to go, but I'll have to give it a little bit more testing as we get a bit more time in the future. Whew, but nonetheless, good stuff. I had fun with that. Hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So if everyone enjoyed the video, hope you have learned a thing or two along the way and you had a good time watching. This is Bustin' We. Thank you for being here.